Hi, I'm Shelley Tulloch. I'm the Chair of Anthropology at University of Winnipeg. The teaching and learning that takes place in our program addresses human experience and culture in different places and across time. We have faculty and courses that address the experiences of Indigenous communities in North America and South America, peopling of the Caribbean, and early food pathways, as well as human origins in Europe. In addition to our Bachelor of Arts in Anthropology, which you can take as a 3-year or 4-year or honors BA or as a minor, our department also offers a Bachelor of Science degree in Bioanthropology, which draws on the methods and theories of chemistry, biology, geography, math, and science, in addition to anthropological sciences. Our department houses the interdisciplinary program in Linguistics, which explores language from all different disciplinary perspectives. We're also involved in the Indigenous Languages thematic major, which focuses on learning Indigenous languages, Indigenous language revitalization, and policy and programming development. Some of the courses that I teach include Introduction to Linguistics, which examines this faculty that we use every day from a scientific perspective, learning how to describe the sounds, the words, the grammar of our language, and also learning how this language functions in society. Upper level courses that I teach include sociolinguistics, which addresses language in society. It looks at how language isn't just a system, but it's a tool for belonging, for taking part in community, for showing who we are. In Indigenous Peoples of Arctic Canada, students read oral histories written by Inuit elders, and they watch films created from the 1960s to present that show aspects of Inuit culture and that have Inuit telling their own stories about their own experiences. If anthropology or bioanthropology or linguistics sounds like it's the right fit for you, I'd be really happy to talk more about our program with you. Please feel free to contact me by email s.tulloch@uwinnipeg.ca or contact one of us for Zoom drop-in information. Thanks and best wishes for your academic endeavors.
Hi, I'm Dr. Julie Pelletier, and I'm a cultural anthropologist in the Department of Anthropology at the University of Winnipeg. I'd like to tell you a little bit about cultural anthropology. In North America, it is the largest of the 4 subfields of the field of anthropology. And our interest, as is clear from our name, is culture. Everything that makes humans what they are that is not biological, it falls into the arena of culture. So, how we speak, how we dress, the jewelry we wear, something like the blanket behind me, those are all cultural artifacts. I'm particularly, as a cultural anthropologist, interested in Indigenous North Americans, particularly of this area and the Great Lakes. So, what can you do with a degree in cultural anthropology or having taken some courses in that area? Well, at the University of Winnipeg's Anthro department, you can start at an introductory level, and I teach an intro to anthropology with an Indigenous focus. So, you would learn about cultural anthropology through that lens. I teach about ethnography and North American peoples. So, an ethnography is basically an account of a society, their practices, beliefs, economics, politics, and so on. So, that's you could get your start in that way, and then possibly work with me in upper levels as well, or maybe do a senior thesis with me, which I would very much enjoy. Cultural anthropology prepares people to be good communicators and to be sensitive to and aware of cultural differences among people, both within your country and between countries as well. So I certainly never dreamed that I would be an anthropologist, but I'm so glad that I became one, and I would welcome you to join the field. All right, take care. Bye bye.
My name is Mirjana Roxange. I'm professor at the Department of Anthropology, University of Winnipeg. I'm also coordinator of Bioanthropology program at the University of Winnipeg. The program is an interdisciplinary program that studies everything biological about humanity, past, present, and possibly future. As you know, human beings are complex. We have the culture, we have the past, we have the biology, and all of that interacts to produce who we are, how we think, how we behave, and how we interact with each other. In terms of biological anthropology program, you're exposed to all of that. So the focus is on biological humanity, but you will need to be conversant in all sorts of social sciences as well as lab methods and theoretical portions. In biological anthropology, it doesn't give you like you do not become there is not one employment path for or career path for biological anthropologists. You can actually do lots of varied things because our approach is very holistic. Lots of our students actually go to grad school where they continue to work in biological anthropology, in archaeology, or possibly forensics. Other students go to medical or other professional schools. Lots of them actually get employment with, interestingly enough, government agencies or different laboratories. So it doesn't give you any specific pathway into your career, but it gives you a lot of different skills that you can employ in many different careers.
My name is Yadira Chinique de Armas. I'm a bioanthropologist and an assistant professor at the Department of Anthropology at the University of Winnipeg. I combine different lines of evidence, including the study of human remains, the analysis of stable isotopes, and the identification of plants microremains to understand the way of life of people in the past. My topics include dietary practices of past populations, also their migrations and interactions. In my courses, the students can learn different aspects related to human osteology and the different theoretical and practical aspects of and methods that we apply to the field of biological anthropology to understand people variability and adaptation in the framework of the evolutionary process. In upper level courses, students have the opportunity to start learning about different techniques that they can apply in the laboratory, and also they can even learn how to conduct research. And this is something very important in our program, that the students really learn how to conduct a research from the very beginning until the results discussion and conclusions. We also explore different aspects of these interactions with students in our department, and actually we cover a very wide spectrum. So if you are considering to learn things about human osteology, or you want to know how forensic anthropologists can arrive to the conclusions that they arrive, or you are just curious about what makes us humans, then you should consider to take one of our courses.
I'm a paleoanthropologist, and what I study is human evolution. I study later phases of human evolution, but I teach the whole, evolution from starting with the primate evolution all the way to how modern humans actually inhabited the entire world. This, for example, is a copy of Australopithecus africanus, and this one tells you that this was an upright primate that actually had a very small brain but was walking bipedally just like we do, and this is one of the hallmarks of human evolution. My project where I study human evolution is located in the Balkans, and where we have materials dating to 500,000 years ago. Now this one is about 3.5 million years ago, so you can see that there is a lot of difference there. And in that program, we also have, in addition to the courses that we teach at the university, where you can actually get to examine the fossil casts, We also offer a field school. Part of our international field school happens in Serbia, where we excavate several caves that have been inhabited by Neanderthals, but also by a yet to be defined hominin species. The other part of that international field school is happening in Cuba, and Yadira will tell you more about that one.
Our research team is involved in 3 archaeological excavations in the Caribbean, specifically in Cuba. In those excavations, the students have the opportunity to go there and learn different aspects related to how to excavate in archaeological places, and also they will have the opportunity to interact with other students and colleagues from different cultural backgrounds, and they will have the opportunity to also interact with the community. So we have had very good experiences with the students from the University of Winnipeg going to the field school with us, and I really hope that you will be motivated to do the same.
Okay, my name is Ivan Roksandic. I'm the coordinator for the Interdisciplinary Linguistics program, which I want to talk about a little bit. So we offer these different possibilities for students, so 3-year BA, 4-year BA, honors BA, but also a minor. And essentially the point of the linguistics as a branch of knowledge is to study human language, right? And so in certain ways it belongs to both the natural sciences and to social sciences and humanities, given that human language is something that we biologically inherit as members of the species we call Homo sapiens, and at the same time language is the key part of human culture. You learn and you transmit and you change culture by means of language, right? So these are all the elements that we study then in this program. We study language structure, which is very complex, which is why human language can express so many different things. We study the connection between structure and meaning, and we also look how language is used in different cultural and social situations, right? Plus, we also see how language changes through time, because language is always changed through time. We have in our program also this, what I will going to show you, our newsletter we call Lingo, where students can publish texts that they have done as presentations or as final papers in their different courses. For example, this what we have on this slide, we have some texts that are done, very complex texts, as you can see, that were done by some students in the 4th year. In this case, it was Matthew Godin, who now is studying for PhD in Montreal. We also have every year in April, we have our student colloquium, where students present different papers that they have done in different courses in this program. The thing also is here that we didn't have any in 2020 because of the COVID, but normally we have very, very interesting program there. So this is much about the program. As for the different projects that I'm involved in, I mentioned 2 of them. One is in the Caribbean, which is named Taino and Pre-Taino Toponym in the Western Caribbean, which actually looks at the different waves of early migrants when they first came from the surrounding continents, North, Central, South America, onto the islands, right? And so one way to look is to study toponyms. Toponyms are called place names, so these individual locations that have their specific names, which are given then through different specific naming processes that depend on different cultures and different ethnic groups. Place names obviously always mean something in the original name, in the original language, which the original group that gave that name uses. And so using that kind of analysis of that kind of structure, both on level semantics but also on level morphology, we can see which language groups will be the most similar to specific toponyms there. And so then if you look at the map of the Caribbean, we can see from which side they might come. They might come from the Orinoco Basin, they might come from Florida, they might come from Yucatan, or perhaps from lower Central America over what you call the Nicaraguan rise between what is today Nicaragua and Costa Rica all the way to what is today again Jamaica. The other project I'm involved in is in Brazil, and it's called Colonization of the Sacred Places of the Xavante territory of Maravetsede and São Marcos. So Xavante is one of the many indigenous groups in Brazil. They have about 15,000 members today. They are located in the state of Mato Grosso, which is sort of very far in the southwest of Brazil, so it was a very remote place. So until very early 20th century, that was pretty remote, and they totally kept their traditional way of life, culture, and everything else. But since then, there was a very aggressive encroachment on their territory, where a lot of governments, specifically the military dictatorship, but also different, huge agro businesses trying to encroach on their territory and to use it for their, like soya beans are now a big thing in that part of the world. So this project actually wants to use studying of place names and also archaeology, which is a different part of the same project, to sort of reconstruct where their territory was and to sort of fight for their territorial rights. So in the final picture we have our collaborator Zé Maria from the São Marcos village and our Brazilian PI who does the archaeological part of the project, Dr. Claudia Plans.
Hi, my name is Robert Lewis. I'm a linguist in the Department of Anthropology. I'm also a new hire. My research in linguistics could be said to be in 3 different areas. The first area is understanding discourse in the Algonquian languages. So the Algonquian languages are languages like Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Cree, Potawatomi. I've mainly done my research on Potawatomi. In terms of discourse, I've been looking recently at a couple of interesting discourse phenomena. These include discourse markers as well as interjections. So discourse markers in Algonquian languages might be something like sa, or in other languages, gshe. Interjections are things a little bit more characteristically in English as something like "oh" or sometimes even something like "well." The other area of my research is focused on understanding verbs in Algonquian languages. So most Algonquian languages have verbs that are split up into 3 different parts. They're known as tripartite verbs. There's a lot to be said about what's going on within these verbs. Understanding the different pieces as well as how they change is a big area of research. In addition to just understanding the 3 parts of your base verb, there are a number of different markers that go on a verb called person markers that indicate who is doing the action as well as who the action is being done to. My research also tries to understand those pieces of the verb as well. So the third part of my research roughly tries to take these first 2 research areas that I've just briefly mentioned and put them into a form that makes them presentable to a student. So in a nutshell, I try and figure out how to teach discourse related phenomena to students, as well as how to better teach verbs to students. So if you're interested in linguistics, or if you're interested in Algonquian languages, I really encourage you to take some of the linguistic courses that our department offers, as well as some of the courses that are offered by other departments through interdisciplinary linguistics. In terms of the courses that I teach, I'm teaching 3 courses right now. The first is Intro to Linguistics. So if you want a real solid foundation in just what is linguistics, I'll give you that there in Intro to Linguistics, where we'll cover the basic building blocks that go into linguistics. I'll also be teaching language revitalization. So if you want to understand how to bring new life back to languages that are in danger, I really encourage you to take the language revitalization course. In addition to just common strategies for doing language revitalization, we'll also talk about pitfalls that a lot of communities have faced when they try to revitalize their endangered language. And then the last course that I'll be teaching this next year is language typology. And there we'll be looking at some of the commonalities that we find across all languages. So it's sure to be a really interesting course. students that take these courses, as well as students that just generally take any linguistic courses, whether they be in the Department of Anthropology or in other departments, will be strongly geared to go on to study linguistics at the graduate level, as well as I hope to prepare students with some of the courses that I offer to go on and become language teachers for Algonquian languages. So that's all I'll say. Thanks. Miigwech.